Hey there, Michelle Taylor. It's been a while since I've done a video, but it is March 2021, and I am keeping myself accountable for a monthly coaching session on goal setting, goal planning. So here we are. I have two concepts that I want to share with you today and hope that you use them in your goal setting. I actually have no clue. I should probably look this up, but I have no clue how to write and video myself on the reverse camera. So I actually had to write my things you're going to see backwards so that you could see it the right way. So I hope you find some joy in that. Anyways, I'm giving you two acronyms today. One is ABCs and the other one, do your ABCs, and the other one is MAP. So let's start with the ABCs. All right. We have anchor, behavior, and celebrate. So what this means is you want to, in order to set a goal, you want to make sure that you set it with something that you're already doing. So for example, you have an anchor. The anchor is the thing that you're already doing. So we want to pick an anchor like, I don't know, something you do often, like brush your teeth, eat, feed the dog, put your shoes on, something that does not require any motivation. You're just doing that stuff already. Maybe even waking up is some of your anchors. So you take an anchor, you figure out what is the thing that you want to add to your life, and you chunk it way down into something super, super silly small. So that's the behavior. That's the behavior. It needs to be super, super, super small. So let me give you an example. I wanted to do more squats during the day. I think I mentioned this in my last video. So my anchor became my dog, Osito, when he barks, which is very often. I wanted to do a squat for every time that he barked. So the anchor is there. I don't have to even be motivated to do that. He's doing it. Usually I get mad and then my amygdala is on fire and I'm in angry mode, which I don't like anyway. So I've used his bark as an opportunity for an anchor that happens. He's the greatest coach if there was ever one. He's the anchor. My behavior, I could say get up and do 20 squats, but I know for a fact that I would not do 20 squats. So my silly, silly small thing is to do one squat. And sometimes, some days, that's even too much because he's barking way too much. So I will even just stand up. So my anchor is he barks. My behavior I want to add is one squat or even just stand up. And then the last thing, the C, is celebrate. That is huge. In goal setting, you want to give yourself a celebration, even if it's something super small, because if you add those things up together, if you do super small incremental changes in your behaviors every single day, by the end of the year, you'll be 365% better. But usually we don't celebrate the 1% things we do every day and celebrate it because they seem so small and so insignificant. But when you celebrate it, you're actually giving yourself a little dopamine high. You get a little endorphins, which makes you want to continue to do the behavior again. So a celebration can be as small as a fist pump, like, yeah, I did it. So my anchor is my dog barking. I get up, I stand up, or I do one squat. And literally right after I do that, I go, yeah, I did it. Or you could even fist bump in the air. Yeah. That small little celebration, it does not have to be huge. You don't have to call your family at home about it. It is literally just a little fist pump and that action of power. You're giving yourself a dopamine and an endorphin high just from celebrating. So remember your ABCs: anchor, behavior, celebrate. That's the first thing. The second thing is this cute little XY axis. Hopefully that's the right way. Motivation, I think. Okay, I had to write this backwards. So this is MAP, and it stands for motivation, ability, and prompt. This can be used to add a behavior or take away a behavior that you want to get rid of. So think for a second, what is a behavior that you want to get rid of? For me, I wanted to get rid of the news. I read the news constantly on my phone, and it was the Smart News app. And that thing has so much news updated every day, and I just habitually got, into poking at it at least once an hour, sometimes more. Even though I had read through, I was always like refreshing it, wanting a new updated news. For what? And I was really like, had to do this. Why? Why do I do this? I just wanted to stay ahead of the game. But I knew that that was taking up a lot of my time. So I wanted to get rid of it. So I'm going to tell you how to get rid of something first, and then I'll tell you how to use map to add it. So what you want to do is you want to have ability, motivation on a 0 to 10. Hopefully that comes out as a 10. And 0 here and 10 here. So basically what you want to figure out is you want to have, let's say I want to take away my smart news. I've got to make it so unable. I have to make the ability for me to reach the smart news at a 0. So my ability needs to be at a 0. Before, my ability to get there was at a 10 because it was right there on my phone. My ability to get it was at a 10 here because it's so easy to just poke at it. And my motivation was also at a 10. So here, a 10 and a 10, the chances of me doing that behavior, if it's in this area right here, your prompt. So the prompt is, what is the thing that's sparking your curiosity? What is the thing that makes you do something? So my prompt was smart news. What is my smart news? Well, my ability to reach it was at a 10. I could easily poke at it. And my motivation was really high. It's also at a 10 because it sparked my curiosity to do it. So my chances of getting rid of or not looking at the news were very slim. So what I had to do is my motivation still is at a 10. I still want to check the news. But what I had to do is I had to make my ability to get to my news app at a 0. And so what I decided to do was to erase it from my phone. So now my ability is at a 0. My motivation is still at a 10, but now it's in this space here. This is the safe space of not doing something. And this is the space of doing something. So if I want to erase a habit that I don't like, I want to make either the motivation very low and the ability very high, or somewhere in the middle, to where it's the spots meet up in this area. This is the spot that will, cause you to delete a bad habit. So my bad habit was looking at smart news. My motivation is at a 10. Fine. Okay, cool. But I had to make it my ability to go to a 0. Now, I will admit, I did pretty good for about a day of no news. But then I started to figure out that I could swipe left on my phone, and Samsung has this thing where they have Samsung News, which I still haven't figured out how to get rid of. It's not as good as Smart News. So now my ability to get to the news is like here. Well, it's back up to here. But because Smart News is so much better than the Samsung News, my motivation to read the Samsung News is like here. So I'm kind of like right here on my prompt in wanting to read the news. So even though I have reduced my urges to want to look at the news, it's still, I still don't want to do it as much because my motivation has dropped because it's not smart news, and my ability is a little bit lower because I still have to like swipe and look at the thing. So that's how to delete a bad habit. How to use map and add a habit that you want to do. You've got to make your ability high and your motivation high, or your motivation high. So you've got to make the prompt somewhere up here. So what that looks like is, let's say I wanted to walk. I wanted to do some more walking in my day. Well, you've got to plan your days for your worst motivated self. So what that looks like is, let's say that your motivation is here, right? Let's say that's one of your worst motivated days. Sometimes you're at a 0, but more than likely your motivation's at a 2 or 3. So let's say I wanted to go walking more. I've got to plan for my worst day of motivation, and that's usually around here. And I've got to make it very able for me to go on a walk. I can't set myself up for a goal that's I want to walk for 20 minutes because I'm not going to want to walk for 20 minutes. Really, I'm not every day. There's no way. So I have to make it's so small for me. My ability there's no way that I will not do something to get me to go outside for a walk. So what I would do is I would set my goal like this. can I put my shoes on and open up the front door? Yes, I can definitely do that. So my ability to put on my shoes and go out the front door is at a 10. Let's say on my worst day, I'm at a 2. I'm here. So more than likely, I'm going to get out and at least go open up the door. And, once you're in motion, you're going to stay in motion and you're going to probably take more steps than just to the door. But I have set myself up to be able to get out the door by making the ability of it really high and planning for my worst motivated day. Now, in general, I will have more motivation for walking because I know it's good for me. So I'll be up here and I can set my goal a little bit higher to, okay, I'm going to just walk to the end of the block or just, take 5 steps out the door. My ability to do that still needs to be at a 10. If you set your goal to be, I'm going to go walk for 2 miles, your ability to do that sometimes is going to be not very high and you're going to be back in this zone where you're taking your behaviors away. So you want to make sure your prompt is over here on the XY axis. If you want to add something, so let me give you another example for taking away something. If you have trouble eating snacks that are not good for you, what do they say? Don't buy them. So here we go. Your ability to get the snacks are at a 0 because they're not even in your house. Your motivation might be at a 10. So you're here. You're not going to do it because it's not there. Well, let's say you buy them. If you're able to get those snacks in your house, your ability's at a 10. If you have a bad day and your motivation's at a 10, more than likely you're going to go grab those snacks. Hopefully you don't have the motivation and you have willpower not to grab the snacks, but more than likely if the snacks are there, you're going to eat them. So some things that I've heard is make it in a spot that is not available for you to reach it as easy. Maybe have a lock on something. I've heard that for not using the phone so much is putting it in one of those locked boxes that only allow you to use it after a certain amount of time. So right there, you're making your ability at a 0. Your motivation still might be high. So I hope this helps. MAP is great. And then also use your ABCs with MAP because once you do your anchor, your behavior, so you've either added the behavior or taken away the behavior, celebrate it because you did it. You added it or you took it away, and you want to make sure to give yourself that adrenaline and that dopamine and those endorphins to help you feel good about it. And if you add up all that stuff, you're going to feel with at the end of the day, if you give yourself those little moments of celebration, by the end of the day, you're going to feel like it was a great day, even though you only did little minuscule things throughout the day. So that's it. I hope that that's helpful. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I look forward to the next month of letting you know what is there for goal setting. Bye.